Welcome back to the Notary Podcast, hosted by me, Daniel C. Lewis. So happy to have you back this week. We have a very special podcast for this week, and I can't wait to get into it. And I just wanted you to make sure you like, share, and subscribe to this podcast. We love doing this podcast for you. We love seeing you guys back each and every week. And we just want you to make sure you let your friends know, let people know in groups that you have, that you're in, that you share this podcast, because we want you to share it, and we definitely want you to subscribe to this podcast. This week, we have a very special topic, but before we get in that topic, each week I try to give a critique of either a book or some type of tool you can use as a notary entrepreneur. And this week, I'm going to give you a tool that I use a lot. I get asked this question a lot about how do I keep myself organized. I'm doing podcasts. I'm doing classes. I'm doing notary assignments, general notary work. I'm doing real estate closings. How do you keep yourself organized? What tools do you use to keep yourself organized? And one of the things I've used for years, since the early 90s, I know some people use digital planners, digital calendars. I personally use a handwritten planner. Here's my planner right here. I use that to keep myself organized. And this particular planner that I would recommend, and I've started using this planner for the last couple of years. I've tried all kinds of other planners that worked somewhat, but as I evolved myself and I evolved my business, I wanted my planner to evolve also. And I use this planner. It's called the Clever Fox Weekly Planner Pro. And once again, here, you can get them on Amazon. Very inexpensive planner. I use the premium edition of the Clever Fox Weekly Planner Pro, just to give you some ideas of why I use this particular planner. In it, it has pages that you can, like the first couple pages are about you writing down your awareness and self-discovery, what your core values are, what you're passionate about, and it really promotes that way of thinking about what's important to you. You can have affirmations in here, what you're grateful for. I even have my vision board in here. Show you a quick peek. My vision board in here of things that are important to me. It also has things in here about what do I want my life to be like in year 1, 2, 5, 10, 20 years. And I write those things down in my planner. It has a place where you can write your 3-month goals down. If you have a yearly goals, which is great, you break those yearly goals down into quarters, which is 3 months, and then those 3 months into months, and then those months into weeks. And it has places in here that you can write those things down, monthly reviews, and also it has great places for you to have your daily goals and daily rituals that you do to help prepare yourself for the day. It's a great way to stay on top of your business, a great way to stay on top of your health, your spiritual life, personal development, your romantic relationships, and also a great way to plan out fun things for you. So I want to highly recommend, again, is the Clever Fox edition planner that I use to keep me, and I know some people use digital planners and digital equipment to help them. It depends on your personality. For me, this works really well. Clever Fox Weekly Planner Pro. I use the premium edition. The premium edition also has a couple other things in the back where you can track your expenses, your monthly expenses and your weekly expenses. So that really helps me out track and see where I'm at, because I always want to know where I'm at financially. It gives me an idea, gives me that freedom to know where I am at financially. So Clever Fox, once again, one last time, Clever Fox Weekly Planner Pro. I use the premium edition. And it's really inexpensive on Amazon. You can find that on Amazon or AmazonPrime.com. So I wanted to definitely give you that, and also now get on to our subject for this week. This week, this is actually a month. We're in the month of August 2024. This is known as the Estate Planning Month, believe it or not. And a reason why I want to go over this topic is because as a notary entrepreneur, a lot of my work is dealing with attorney services that deal with estate plans. I'm always in hospitals, nursing homes, assisted living, rehabilitation centers, ortho centers, from people that either had a heart attack or been in an accident meaning they didn't expect things to happen where that would land them in the hospital. And then once they're there, they are starting to think, hey, you know what, this is a good time. I'm going to be in this hospital for several weeks with either broken bones, recovering from a heart attack, stroke. This will be a great time for me to do or start thinking about my estate plan, my will, my living will, my healthcare power of attorney. Now, when I go to the hospitals under these circumstances, it's usually late at night because they had an accident late at night. Someone crashed into them. It wasn't expected. And I've even been with a person that was sleeping in their house and someone drunk driver drove right into their house while they were sleeping. And they never thought, hey, I needed to get my estate planning done. It's so important to get your estate planning work done because you never know what's going to happen. And if you're like me, some people may relate to this. I grew up in an area where I didn't have a whole lot of resources. My family didn't have a whole lot of resources. Some people call that poor. And my mother, she passed away at a very early age at 46. She did not have any of her estate documents done. My grandparents didn't have any of their estate documents done. By not having this stuff done, even though you think, hey, I don't really have a whole lot, so it doesn't matter to have my will, living will, healthcare power of attorney, or anything like that. That doesn't matter. It does matter to your loved ones. By my mother not having her will done or taken care of, it caused a lot of rift in our family. So there's some family members still to this day, and that was back in the late 80s, still to this day does not speak to other family members because of that one document, not having that forethought to get your will, your living will, your healthcare power of attorney done. The number one reason why people don't do that is because before they're in the hospital or a nursing home or assisted living, is because of cost. So the thing I'm going to talk about today is a legal service plan that I've had. And just as a disclaimer, I am an associate of this program. It's called Legal Shield. It used to be prepaid legal. And I am an associate of this. And I don't want you to think, oh, this podcast is just another infomercial. It is not. I am an associate of Legal Shield. I will have a link below that says how you can get involved in Legal Shield, how you can get a policy, or how you can become an associate. One of the things I do want to disclose is this. I am not an associate that just became an associate last week, last month, or even last year and said, now I want to sell Legal Shield policies because I'm an associate. That's not the case. I've actually been an associate and had my own policy with Legal Shield since March of 1998. That's right, since March of 1998. My policy is older than most of you who's listening to this podcast. So I'm not trying to want this to be some type of salesy podcast today, but it is my secret weapon to how I've been in business for so long. In fact, I've been a notary entrepreneur since October 2003. I wouldn't have been, and this is just being very honest, I wouldn't have been in business this long if I didn't have a Legal Shield policy, which is also tax deductible. So that's why I want to talk about Legal Shield today. and why it's so important if you're a notary, if you're a seasoned notary, if you are a notary that's just starting off in business, to have a Legal Shield policy right away, because it helps your business in so many different ways. And I'll tell you some of the success stories of how I use my policy and why I am so adamant and so strongly recommending getting a Legal Shield policy if you're a notary entrepreneur. Whether you're full-time, part-time, sometime notary entrepreneur, this is a policy you absolutely have to have. It's just like having a notary stamp. You have to be protected, because you got to keep in mind, as a notary entrepreneur, whether you're a remote online notary or a traditional notary like me, you're going to be dealing with millions, not thousands, millions of dollars worth of assets for people on a weekly basis. You have to have some protection for you, and it just makes great business sense to have that. You don't see any of the top 500 businesses in this country, no matter whether they're service business, food business, retail, that don't have a legal plan that they operate, or legal services that they operate with. So just think about that. So I'm going to give you 6 reasons why you should have a legal service plan, and 7, because the first, I started off talking about making sure you get your will, living will, healthcare power of attorney, maybe even some trust documents. I'm always in hospitals, nursing homes, assisted living, really late at night, from people who don't think that far ahead and don't think an accident can happen to them. Remember, this person, one of my clients, was in their bed and a car came in through right off the street, right over their lawn, into their house, that put them in the hospital. Just remember that. Another client was driving, and a trucker was driving the opposite way, fell asleep, head-on collision. Just remember, you have to have some type of protection for yourself, and that's why I would urge you, even if you're not a notary entrepreneur or haven't started your business, get a Legal Shield plan. And what a Legal Shield plan is, and I should go back and say, Legal Shield plan is like having health insurance, but it's legal insurance, where you have access to attorneys, and that's just not just general practitioners, attorneys that specialize in contract law, business taxes, attorneys that specialize in just basic personalized things that you need, attorneys that specialize in, if you get a traffic ticket, attorneys that's all they do. They go to the traffic court and work for you and they mitigate any type of traffic violations you have. So just think about like that, talking directly to the attorney. If my mother had this program, our family would have been a lot better off, I think, because she would have her will in place, everything the way she wanted to have it, instead of relatives coming in and fighting over a chair or something like that. So let me give you the 6 reasons why you should have Legal Shield as a notary entrepreneur. First, legal advice on demand. That's the first thing. Having Legal Shield, you can talk to an attorney directly. And you say, well, why would I need to talk to an attorney directly? Notary entrepreneurs often face legal questions, especially because you're a business, you're an independent contractor, you're a notary entrepreneur. From understanding contracts to ensuring compliance with state regulations, and interpreting those state regulations can be tricky if you don't have that legal background. A Legal Shield policy provides access to qualified attorneys for consultation on legal matters, offering peace of mind and informed decision-making. Now, Legal Shield offers that. You can talk to the attorney, they'll make phone calls on your behalf, and they also will write letters on your behalf. Let me give you an example of how that works. One of my first closings that I did, real estate closings, was in a rural area. I was driving, I did a business plan with score.org. I talked about that in other podcasts, how to write up a business plan and use that resource, that free resource, score.org, to write up a business plan. So I wrote up a business plan, and part of that business plan was for me to invest in a vehicle that I think would be reliable and durable and can go out. I'm in Indiana. Sometimes it snows. Sometimes the roads are not great. But I need something that also was great on gas. So I bought myself a brand new Toyota Yaris. Brand new Toyota Yaris. It was a sedan. So I was out doing a closing in a very rural area in my brand new Toyota Yaris. When I got that car, it only had 13 miles on it. So I was driving out in this rural area to this house, and in a rural area here in Indiana, sometimes the houses are way away from the road. So when I was driving down to this little rocky road, dirt rocks road, the house was way back. The nearest neighbor was maybe a half a mile away. So I'm driving down this road. It's nothing but field, and the signer had a Great Dane. If you're not familiar with Great Danes, they are big dogs with big, look like miniature horses. So I'm driving up. This Great Dane comes running up to the car and put his big paws on my door and went. Now remember, my car had only 13 miles on it. It was a brand new car. Of course, the signer comes out. The signer looks, oh, that's just minimum damage. You can just buff that out. Of course, they're going to say that because they don't want to pay for that getting taken care of. So, and if I went to the title company that hired me, they're not going to want to have anything to do with that. They're only there to give you the documents, pay for the closing. They don't want to hear about damages to your car or anything like that. So, and if I went back to the signer and said, hey, well, I have damages here, I have to get this paid, it was just a couple $100 to get it taken care of, maybe sand it down, buffed out a little. And I'm sure they didn't want to do it because they was already mitigating the damages. So in that case, if I went to the signer and said, hey, and lean on him, hey, we really got to take care of this, he would go back to the title company and say, hey, this guy was not very professional, what have you, and then I'll start getting blackballed from title companies. But in that case, what I did was called my Legal Shield attorney. He contacted them and had their homeowners insurance take care of the damage there. That's just one of the many ways I've used Legal Shield in my business to help me take care of it. And did I mention Legal Shield is also tax deductible? So the first way to handle things is through the first reason why I think you should have Legal Shield is because of it gives you access to an attorney to call and handle problems. In fact, this week, just yesterday, I was on a conference call with some of the top notaries in the country, and one of them brought out an issue that seasoned notaries are having across the country. If they have an issue with a signing company, title company, lender, if the notary has an issue with them not having the service, being able to hash that out with your attorney and having your attorney work on your behalf to hash out whatever the issue is, whether it's the signing companies or title company or lender's issue with you or if it's your issue with them. Having a Legal Shield attorney to talk to them about that is just one great professional option you can have. On that call with several of the top notaries in the country, one of the things that came up was notaries that when they do have an issue with someone that they're doing business with, they have a bad habit of going online and blasting out all their grievances about that company using very unprofessional words, profanity-laden comments. And what happens there is that not only does that company that they have the issue with sees that, other companies sees that, and they don't see it as that notary has an issue with that company. They see it as, I don't want to deal with that notary because that notary could say the same thing about me having a simple issue. So what happens to that notary is they start getting blackballed from all the companies. So that's another reason why you should have some other options to handle any type of issue you have with other companies like title companies, signing companies, lenders, some other professional options, talking with your attorney, hashing out exactly what the issue is, and having your attorney give you legal advice or make that phone call on your behalf or send that letter on your behalf. That is a much more effective way than going online, making a lot of derogatory statements about the company, because then it looks like you're not really a professional, if that makes sense. So hopefully I'm making sense here with that. The second reason to have Legal Shield as a great protection for you is protection against legal liability. Notaries can be held liable for errors and omissions in their notarization, which could lead to lawsuits. Legal Shield offers assistance with legal defense, helping to mitigate financial risks associated with potential legal action. I can't tell you how important it is if you're a notary to have Legal Shield. Now, I'm an approved educational provider for the Department of Insurance in both Virginia and Indiana. By teaching those courses, if you take my course and you get a summons later, maybe a year or two later, behind a transaction you've done, and you contact me, I will go to court with you. Now, I'm not an attorney. I want to make sure that's clear. I'm not an attorney, but I want to go to court with you to see how the legal system handles legal issues concerning notaries. If you have E&O insurance is great. If you have a bond, that's good. But the bond protects the public. The E&O insurance protects you. However, and I've talked to E&O insurance attorneys over the years, and what E&O insurance does is, if there is a claim against you for messing up a notarization and there's damages that the signer receives, sometimes there can be a claim against you. Sometimes, and a lot of times, if you're a professional notary and you're about this best practices, you want to challenge the claim against you. Say, no, I know I got all the signatures. No, I know I've checked the IDs. No, I know I required personal appearance. Yes, I have a journal that shows that they sign, and sometimes I get a thumbprint. I know I did everything to the best of my ability. I know I didn't cause any damages. With E&O insurance, usually they just pay out the claim because it's much more cost effective for them. They don't do witness. They don't call on witnesses. They don't look over evidence. They just find out what's the fastest way to get rid of this. So with E&O insurance, a lot of the times, 99% of the time, they just pay. If there's a claim against you, they'll pay it out. With Legal Shield, if you're named as a defendant, they will go to court for you. That has been huge. That saved so many notaries that has had that product, that Legal Shield product. The Legal Shield attorney goes to court with them. They question witnesses. They can do discovery. They can do a lot of things for you to save your business. So protection against legal liability is such a huge thing to have a Legal Shield legal service plan for your business. So and I'll say it again, tax deductible, and it's very affordable. The third thing, contract and document review. As a notary entrepreneur, you're going to be signing a lot, whether you know it or not. You're going to be signing a lot of contracts via email. When someone emails you about an assignment, say, hey, can you do an assignment in this area at this time? And you say, yes, I can do it. Then they send you emails asking you to agree to certain terms. Part of that agreement, they'll have what they call an arbitration agreement in there. And what that is let's say you're here in Indiana and the company that's hiring you is in Florida or in New York or in Oregon somewhere. The arbitration agreement states that if there's any issue with payment from the hiring company to you. Any issue like that, if there is a dispute, like let's say you accept the assignment for $100, but when they pay you, they send you $25. And you say, wait a minute, I have a confirmation that you're going to pay me $100. That's a dispute. And they can say, well, no, we don't feel that we owe you $100. We feel that the service was more $25, so we can pay you that. Remember, this is cross state lines. In order for you to dispute that or have any type of arbitration against that, you have to go to their state to dispute it. Legal Shield is in all 50 states, and that being in all 50 states, that is a big advantage for you, because usually if you're a business entrepreneur and you're operating in like Indiana, you only have an attorney. Like some people say, well, I have a friend that's an attorney, or I have a cousin that's an attorney here. They can't operate in like Florida or California or New York. They only can operate here. So Legal Shield helps. And just to give you a story of how that over the years have helped me, I've had a closing assignment that was 2.5 hours away north of me, northwest of me. And I took the closing assignment. I was playing very well. It was 2.5 hours away, one way. So that's round trip 5 hours. And then when I got to the closing, it was a refinance. It was with a couple. When I got to the closing, it took them an hour to settle down and go and sign all the documents because they had some questions. So that's 6 hours right there in with that one assignment. It was on a Saturday. At this closing, when I did the confirmation call telling them what time I was going to be there, what to expect, have their IDs ready. Oh, they're supposed to send me back a check to send to the title company. Went over all that before I got there. Got there, and we went over the documents, and guess what happened? They wrote their last check the day before. The banks were closed on a Saturday, so they couldn't send the money back, the funds back to the title company, which was located in Florida. I called the title company immediately, told them what the situation was, and offered a solution, which was they were going to sign an affidavit on a blank sheet of paper. I, John Doe, was going to send in the funds or wire in the funds on that Monday, which wasn't a big deal because this was a refinance, and they had 3 days to write the rescind. So they signed the affidavit. I notarized it right there in front of me. So, and I sent that back. Excuse me, with the documents. Guess what happened on Monday? They did not send the money in. They decided that they were going to not go through with closing. They did not cancel the closing. They just didn't send the funds in to complete the process. Based upon that, now remember, this closing total time was 6 hours for me. Based upon that, the title company in Florida said, well, since they did not cancel, technically didn't cancel, they just didn't send funds in, our policy is we just don't pay the notary in that case. We just won't pay them because they didn't go through the closing. We didn't make money, so we're just not going to pay the notary. I felt, as the notary, that was because I just spent 6 hours of my weekend printing out the paper. Remember, I printed out their documents, my copy, their copy, 6 hours of travel, and in the closing. I didn't feel that was a fair assessment to not pay me at all. So we went back and forth. They said they weren't going to pay me. I contacted my Legal Shield attorney. They contacted, and now remember, it was in Florida. Their arbitration agreement says if you have a dispute, you have to go to Florida to handle the dispute. I contacted my Legal Shield attorney here. They contacted the Legal Shield attorney in Florida, and I got, long story short, I got paid in full for that. But if I didn't have that Legal Shield attorney, that would have been a wasted trip. And sometimes you have that. have those type of situations. That's why it's so important as a notary entrepreneur to have a legal shield policy, because it's tax deductible. And for those little things like that, it works. And I use my legal shield policy for all kinds of things. Another story I can tell you, and this is just on a personal note, we had a get-together at our house, and this is about contracts too. We had a get-together at our house with all my family there. My brother-in-law was there. He's playing with the kids, and he fell and broke our couch. I broke our couch. Our couch came out like a recliner. He broke it. And no worries, our couch was under warranty. I called the people that we had the warranty with. Hey, we have a broken couch here. I need to get that fixed. I need a repairman to come repair the couch. Oh, no problem. We're backed up right now, but we'll get somebody out to you. It's going to take a little while. We're actually backed up. This is what the furniture place said. We're backed up about 60 days. Okay, no problem. We didn't have any company coming in over the next couple of months, so that wasn't a problem. The repairman, on the day he was supposed to come, never showed up. We called the furniture place again. They said, oh, no problem. Sorry about that. Our fault. He got sick that day. Dog ate his homework, whatever. We'll send a repairman back out. We're still backed up. It'll be about 30 days. The day that the repairman was supposed to come, guess what? Never showed up. We called him back. Hey, what's going on? Oh, sorry, no problem. And it happened again. Repairman didn't show up. We called him a fourth time. Guess what happened on the fourth time? The fourth time they said, oh, we noticed that you're now out of warranty, so we can't repair your couch. Wait a minute. I called several months ahead of time. Nope, you're out of warranty now, so now we can't repair your couch. So you're stuck with that broken couch. I called my Legal Shield attorney. Legal Shield attorney called their legal department, and guess what happens? How they resolved it. Not only did they fix our couch, they didn't fix our couch. They came and took our couch back, brought us a brand new couch, and for our trouble, they gave us another love seat for our trouble for that whole issue. So that's how Legal Shield. If I didn't have Legal Shield, we would just been stuck with a broken couch. So that's another way that Legal Shield has helped. I have 100 of those kind of stories because Legal Shield actually pays for itself. So the fourth reason that a notary entrepreneur should have Legal Shield is because they can help you incorporate your business, help you figure out what direction your business is supposed to be going into. It's just a professional service. There are attorneys that work on business law, very professional service. It helps you incorporate whether you want a sole proprietor, LLC, or S Corp. Legal Shield has attorneys that can help you set all that up, and that can give you so much protection as you go in and out of people's homes, doing it on remote, or just looking over contracts. So being able to have an attorney that can help you, guide you through that, especially we get a lot of people coming into this business from corporate America has no idea of how to get themselves set up with sole proprietor, LLC, corporate America. Legal Shield is a place where you can get all that done. So it helps you with your business incorporation support. The fifth thing, the reason why people should have a Legal Shield plan is because it helps you with debt collection assistance. It helps you collect debt because you're going to be dealing with, you're going to wear, as a notary entrepreneur, you're wearing many hats. Your marketing person, building up your business plan, your branding, and for debt, with being a notary entrepreneur, sometimes you can do work for someone, especially in the real estate industry, being a notary signing agent. You can do closing assignments and then have to wait 30 to 45 days to get paid. Sometimes if you don't keep track of that, I just was talking to someone just yesterday. They did some work for someone in this August now, and they did the work for them in January, and they wasn't paid. And when they contacted them directly, the person got upset with them for contacting them about not being paid in a timely manner. You don't need to deal with that if you have Legal Shield. You can call Legal Shield. Legal Shield has helped me with my debt collection, helped me figure out how I can be more efficient and effective at collecting debt without having all the headaches of calling people back, chasing them down to try to get money, your money for your services. So debt collection is such a big thing. And like I said, that closing I had that was 2.5 hours away, they helped me, peace of mind. I didn't have to chase that person down. They just told me over the phone that, hey, their policy is that they're not going to pay since they didn't send in the money. I didn't have to go crazy and get into a back and forth with them. Just called my attorney. They got in contact with them and got my money right away. So debt collection is a great reason. I mean, it gives you such peace of mind not to have to do that yourself. And sixth reason to have Legal Shield is for identity theft protection. They offer an identity theft protection program that is fantastic. As a notary, you handle sensitive client information. Legal Shield offers identity theft protection and restoration services. That means that if you do have an identity theft issue, they will work to restore your identity back to where it was, providing an added layer of security for your personal and business identity against fraud. So there you have it. And I haven't even mentioned if you get a traffic ticket or a moving violation, that they have attorneys that go to court for you there. So here's the 6 things. You get your legal advice. You get protection from legal liability. You get contract and document review on your behalf, business incorporation support, debt collection assistance, identity theft, and that's just 6 of the reasons why you should have a Legal Shield policy. We have, if you're interested in getting that, I have a link in the description below. Go to that, click on that. You want to get the family plan, the $29.95, and also they have if you're looking for your business, there's a $14.95 home-based business rider. It's tax deductible if you're using it for your business. At the very least, you should get a legal Shield plan to get your will, living will, healthcare power of attorney, financial power of attorney done. All that is included in that policy, that one policy. I cannot stress this enough. I know this sounds like an infomercial, but I can't stress this enough that you have a Legal Shield plan. And like I said, my mother passed away at the young age of 46 without a plan, and that was in the late 80s, we still have relatives that don't speak to each other because who's getting this, who's getting that. I don't want that to happen to you. I want you to be safe, secure with your loved ones. And if you're in the notary business, I've seen notaries that have, without a Legal Shield plan, that went out, fell on a porch, going up a porch to do an assignment, hit their head, then got migraines. The person didn't want to pay. The title company didn't want to compensate them. The heirs and the mission insurance doesn't compensate them for that. If they had a Legal Shield plan, they could have had that all worked out. I've seen people go in and get bitten by dogs, bitten by a pet, and just suffered through it. If you had a Legal Shield plan, on those days that you had off, that could help you get some type of compensation for that. You need a Legal Shield plan if you're looking at doing this in the long term. I can't stress that enough for you. Like I said, I had my plan since 1998. If you're interested in having a Legal Shield plan, go to the comments, click on the link, and just look over the services. And like I said, and once again, it's tax deductible. I hope you liked this podcast today. I know it's maybe a little longer than the regular podcast, but I hope you like it. If you like it, share it, and subscribe. Definitely subscribe. I can't wait to see you next week. We're going to have something really huge next week for you, another great topic, and maybe even one of your favorite authors of notary books or coaches or notary instructors that you wanted on this podcast. I know some of you have asked, hey, I want to see this person on the podcast. Maybe they'll be here next week. So look forward to seeing you again next week. Have a great day.